If you're considering a move to Central Oregon, there is something really important that you need to be aware of, and that's called smoke season. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what smoke season is, why we have it here in Central Oregon, and what you can expect as a local when you're living here, and how to make the best of it, because that's what the rest of us do. My name is Haley Overton. I am a local real estate specialist and relocation expert, and I help people make the move to Bend and figure out which neighborhood is the best for them every day. I'm filming this video outside in my backyard, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's late July of 2026. However, I would not have been filming this video outside if I had done it earlier in the week, because our air quality index, or our AQI, was actually pretty high. It was in the hundreds to 200s, and in some parts of Central Oregon, it was even higher. Now, there are several wildfires burning across Central Oregon right now. And while there aren't any that are in Bend specifically, there are some that are 20, 30, or even more miles away that we can get smoke from. So if you're considering a move to Bend, I always like to talk to my clients about the potential for smoke season. If you have asthma, if you have a heart condition, or even if you just don't want to have to be in the smoke in the summer, I always want people to know what to expect. Some years are better, some years are worse. Last year we had hardly any smoky days. 2020, we had several smoky days in a row. So you never know what you're going to get with smoke season. But what I want you to know in this video is what causes the smoke and how you can avoid some of the smoke as a local. So let's start with this year and why this year's smoke season might be worse than some of the ones that we've had in the past. So the winter of 2025 and 2026 was actually one of our warmest and driest winters that we have had here in Central Oregon in a very long time. And what that means is we have record low snowpack, and we very much rely on that snow melt all throughout the summer to keep our forests a little bit more moist and to keep our rivers fuller. Low snowpack means that the ground and the vegetation dry out faster than normal, and that dry vegetation is what fuels forest fires. So the bottom line is that a warmer winter means less snow, and that less snow means less snow melt, and that's going to mean the potential for more fires and more smoke in the summer. So what does smoke season actually look like? What can you expect? And it's one of those things that you can't necessarily predict it. You can't say August is smoke season, or we're going to have smoke next week. You can't even predict it day to day or even hour to hour. For example, yesterday morning started off smoky, and then it got better in the afternoon, and we were eating dinner outside last night. And then this morning, everything was nice and clear. So it's really difficult to know exactly what's going to be smoky and which regions are going to be the smokiest. But as a general rule, our smoke season here in Central Oregon typically peaks in August. Now, this is an early smoke season because it's mid-July, late July, and we already have some smoke and some fires. But typically, we see smoke early to mid-August, and it can be intermittent through September. What can you expect on those smoky days? You wake up and it kind of feels a little bit hazy. Sometimes you can't see the mountains, or you can't see Pilot Butte because they are hazy. You definitely want to make sure that you wear a mask if you're recreating outside, if the AQI is high. And again, that's going to be different for different groups of people. Not everybody is as sensitive to lower amounts of smoke, but as a general rule, I don't like to be out in it if it's over 160. Smoke season isn't always caused by local fires. So while we do have fires that burn near Central Oregon, right now we have some that are burning up near the Sisters area, and we have some that are out in Prineville. That isn't what always causes our smoke. Sometimes we get smoke that blows in from California fires from Canada, but for the most part, the worst part of our smoke comes from fires that are within the Central Oregon or the Willamette Valley regions. So what does it feel like whenever we have unhealthy air quality here in Central Oregon? You'll notice that there is just a haze around the mountains. Sometimes when you're driving, it's hard to see Pilot Butte or the Three Sisters or Mount Bachelor on the drive. You'll notice that sometimes there's a headache or your throat feels more scratchy. I know the other day I was out on a walk with my dog and more smoke rolled in while we were walking, and I could definitely feel it in my body. So it's something that you just want to be aware of your own body, how you're feeling if you have young children or people who are elderly, who have asthma or other health conditions, just to be a little bit more mindful about the time that they're spending out in the smoky air. Smoke season is one of the big reasons why I think it's important to have air conditioning here in Central Oregon. We do get warm, we get into the 90s, but for the most part, I think you can really get by heat-wise without having air conditioning. But it's the smoke that can really get you, because whenever it's smoky, you don't want to have windows open and fans blowing. You really want to have your house as closed up as possible. So having an air conditioning unit helps keep your home more closed up and keeps the smoke out. We also have air purifiers in each of our rooms. So I have one in my bedroom and each of the kids has one in their rooms. So it just helps keep everything clean and circulating whenever we do have smoky days. The way that I like to look at smoke season is that every region sort of has their thing. In Texas and Oklahoma and the Midwest, you have tornadoes. In Florida and on the East Coast, you have hurricanes. California, you have the potential for wildfires and earthquakes. And here in Central Oregon, while we have really, really amazing days almost the entire year, fires and smoke season are a risk, and they are one of those things that you just sort of roll with and you get through whenever you live here. People ask me all the time about wildfire risk and insurance risks, and we aren't really seeing in 2026, we're not seeing a lot of risks for homeowners insurance getting canceled here in Bend within city limits. Now, where that can become a problem is if you live maybe near Sun River, south of Sun River, somewhere that is surrounded by trees or that is within the forest. That's where we are seeing some of our clients having trouble either obtaining new insurance whenever they purchase a home, or insurance rates are rising pretty rapidly just because of the fire risk out there. So one of the things that you can do if you buy a home that might have a higher wildfire risk, or just in general, is having more defensible space around your home. So not having vegetation, not having dead leaves or dead grass. Some people choose rock or granite, something along those lines that is not as combustible. And rest assured that smoke season here lasts maybe 6 to 8 weeks, and it's not every day, and it's not even every hour of the day. Like I said before, sometimes you wake up and there's smoke, and then almost like a marine layer, it tends to burn off or it blows out of the area, and then sometimes it settles back in overnight. But for the most part, it's a very temporary thing that we deal with here in Central Oregon, and most of the time you can find a way to escape it. So some of the ways that you can escape the smoke are you can do something indoors, like go to a movie or go to an indoor brewery, something along those lines. For kids, we have lots of trampoline parks and jungle gyms and things that are inside. There's the Sun Mountain Fun Center. So we have a lot of different options for doing something inside, even when you wish you could be outside. Now, if you want to be out, but there's smoke in Bend, sometimes you can drive up to Sisters and there's no smoke up in Sisters, or sometimes you can drive out east or down south. So sometimes it's just a 30 to 45 minute car ride and you can escape the smoke and still do outdoor activities. Sometimes all of Central Oregon is really just is smoky. And what we've done in the past is you can drive over the pass and go to Portland, or you can go to the coast. A little bit of a longer trip, maybe not necessarily what you had in your summer plans, but it's a great way to escape the smoke. Add in another summer adventure and come back and enjoy Bend whenever it's less smoky. Another thing just to keep in mind, and something that I do for my own peace of mind, is having a go bag. And I have all of our really important documents, passports, birth certificates, anything that we know that we're gonna need. I have that in a fireproof bag. And then I have clothes for me and the kids, and extra food, extra snacks, dog food, things like that. I keep all of that in a bag together. And then if there is something that comes up, or if we need to be evacuated, all I have to do is grab a couple of things and we are prepared and ready to go. We don't have to think about it too much and we can get to safety. So just to recap, a dry winter can mean an early fire season, which can mean sometimes a longer and earlier smoke season here in Central Oregon, but it's not something that lasts forever and you can't escape it. If you have questions about relocating to Bend, what it's like to live here, what it's like to be here during smoke season, feel free to comment below or leave me a message and I am happy to answer them all personally. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. And we provide videos every week about moving to Bend, what it's like to live in Bend, and answer a lot of questions.